Hello YouTube fans, here again, and I figure why not, without ado, do this one, do this one. Now I've talked about the video nasties a lot, whether it be the golden days of Cannibal Holocaust, whether it would be I Spit on You Dave, Last House on the Left, Midnight Chain Murders and Cannibal Fairlock, and the list goes on. The list goes on, but what I've not talked about was the stupidity of our government, the stupidity of the peace, and the stupidity of a woman who's no longer with us, that being Mary Whitehouse. And I'm going to tell the history and the story of how it all began. Why not? Why not? So, as we all know, some smart ass thought it was funny. They thought it was funny to send a copy of Cannibal Holocaust, of all people, Mary fucking Whitehouse. Now, we all know the history of Mary Whitehouse. She was a woman that wanted you to press everything. And the funny thing was, I'm not talking about fucking porn. A porn company who was doing adult magazines thought it'd be funny to use her name, being Penthouse magazine. Think about it, Mary Whitehouse, Penthouse. So they used her second name, being a smart ass, and got it Penthouse magazine, which was kind of a love letter to Mary Whitehouse. Now at the time, so we had this really worn out video cassette tape of Cannibal Holocaust. And it looked really like it's genuinely snuff, even though we all know, we've seen the debate, look at the history of Cannibal Holocaust. But they thought it was funny. They thought it'd be a laugh, a joke to send this copy, this shitty rentable copy, to Mary Whitehouse. And what a mistake that was. What a mistake. Because Mary Whitehouse went on a new campaign, being Super Mary Whitehouse. And this is how stupid our government were. This is how stupid the Conservatives were, the Tories, the Labour, and so on. And the fucking news, I really, in every epic department, hate the news. You already know what I think of the news. You already know what I think of newspapers, and so on. But this is how stupid they were back in the early 80s, 82, 83. That sort of era. Because at first, you had a dramatic drawing of Satan stood next to a kid. And then, as I remember ranting about this before, you also had one, if I remember right there, with original cover of Cannibal Holocaust. The famous bit where the cannibal is munching on a human bear of ducks, that iconic photo. And the news had a field day. They had a fucking field day to pressing these, because what it was, this was before we had blockbusters. These were the days when video stores could be anywhere. A little corner fan, a little paper shop, a little corner shop, anywhere. Your local little corner shop, the local little fan, anywhere. These people, these men, they were just like your half a dailies back in that era, being the early 80s. They were like your typical half a dailies. And if you think about it, they weren't big businessmen, they were just little businessmen, a little company, making ends meet. And in all fairness, I felt sorry for these people. I felt sorry for them because they were little businesses. And this is how stupid they went. If you was a die back in the early 80s, running one of these rentable shops, and you had one of these video nasties in your shop, the police could raid your shop just like you were fucking pushing drugs, I shit you not. And they could take all your video cassettes off you. And they'd be censoring them and rotzing them. This is a true story. This is fucking how laughable. This is how laughable it were. The police, instead of doing what their job, arresting Stallis, spend half their fucking time sat on their line asses watching horror movies all day. All fucking day. This is how stupid they were. They once raided, as I say, rented. There. They once raided the best little whorehouse in town, which, funny enough, was a Burt Reynolds film with Betty. Yeah, fucking Johnny Parton, Betty Davis, Johnny Big Titty Parton. It was a fucking sex comedy with Burt Reynolds and Johnny Big Titty Parton, and they raided that because they're so fucking dada. But the thing was, they raided all these videos, and they had the powers to be. What I mean by they had the powers to be, They could burn your video to set. They could burn them videos. Just like fucking days of the Germany when they was burning the Bible, they could burn your video to set if you was running a local video shop. And it just went worse. It went so fucking ridiculous. It was unbelievable. There's one man, right, and you think, right, he rented an uncut version of Nightmares in a Damaged Brain. I remember reviewing that one. And the piece got this guy, and they actually put him in prison for 10 fucking days. 10 fucking days they put this poor guy in prison. And it wasn't just one guy. A lot of guys at one video shop had warnings. It's like, the first time we'll take your videos off you. If you show them again the second time, you get a big effing fine. And if you do it a third time, you go to prison. This was just local, independent people with a little Taurus shop making M's fucking meat, being fettered by the police. I will say that word again, threatened by the police, that they could go, take their belongings, what makes their bread and butter. If they don't do it, they'll get a big fine, and if they still be a naughty little boy, they'll go to prison. Not for pushing drugs, not for pushing child pornography, not for fucking selling illegal anything, just for selling cheap, tatty fucking horror movies. That's how I see it. That is how I see it. Now I know, maybe some of them horror movies were disturbing. I remember reviewing that a lot. Some nowadays it's considered classics, like Last House on the Left. It's considered a classic. You know, they made a remake of it in 2009. I Spit on You Dave is now considered a classic again, made a remake. And the list goes on. There's some what are dud, some what are now masterpieces, and there's some what are tap. And the thing is, right, some of them got took off. And then when they eventually got released again, there was cut to shit. Or they've never seen the light of day in this country. There's lots of films, what I need to gems, which I've never seen the day of light. Never seen the day of light. It took us so many days to see Last House on the Left in its so-called uncut form. And there was other films that got affected, you know what I mean? There was loads of films that got ejected. Like Zombie Fest Eaters. Originally there was a strong uncut version. Got took off the shelf. And then we was only limited with the censored version, the cut down version. Thankfully now over the years we have now on DVD managed to see that film now after so many days as I said there, so many days in its tap. But the newspapers was the biggest stum of all. The news went so overboard, saying that kids had been corrupted. And this was a laughable. This is one that really sums up the fucking tourists and how fucking da they were back in them days. There was an MP, right, called Michael Bright, which in my eyes should be called Michael Not So Bright. And you can actually find this on YouTube, I shit you not. And it actually says a line where it says, this does only affect kids. It affects animals. And it affects, let me show you this. It affects dogs. So I'll show you my dog as an example. It affects kids and it affects dogs. This is what Michael Bright, as they say, said back in 1983 on an interview about the video nasties. Ha 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 ha. And I'm thinking, these are people running our country. These are supposed to be intelligent people. And this man is actually saying it will affect my fucking canine and any other fucking dog. What the fuck? What the ultimate fuck? I couldn't believe this. It was actually on a biography, right, called... It's a damn good biography. If you ever find it, I would check it out if you do stuff like that called Video Nasty Extreme. I love it. It really shows you all the old trailers. Definitely brings memories back to you if you was around in that golden era of the video shop. Definitely brings the memories back. But it really just sums up how stupid the police were. It really does sum how da. That is the police were only doing what the government told them to do. But seriously, all this shit, it sort of reminds me of Kurt Arthur. All the daft little revelations he did. I remember saying this once. It reminds me of to North it. The peace and the little man-made laws. It's that same thing in the older days of the video. It's that same thing. The only difference is there was raiding stalls, there was putting the local businessman in prison just for selling an horror movie. Not selling drugs, not selling kid porn, but fucking selling a common fucking horror film. What the fuck? Seriously. And as the powers to be, as you know, videos when they first come out, they wasn't resurrected. They didn't have the 18, didn't have a PT and any of this. You could actually see those films uncut, unlike the theatrical. But because things got suppressed, that's when the rating system come out. Now the thing is, the video store had to fuck about doing all that, and it would have cost them an arm and a fucking leg to do it. Every one of them had to be resurrected. If they didn't have the censorship saying, oh, it's do this, do that, they could just ban that film. There's so many films, even today, have been banned and never seen the light of day. And some of these video nasties now, you could buy them on eBay, you could go on Amazon, and you could probably buy them, and they fucking are expensive. Word of warning, as people know who are buyers out there, there's a lot of bootlegs, meaning there's fakes. But they are very expensive. There's the ones that survive not being burned, because Satan, there is evil. You know what I mean, as Michael Bright would say. But, yeah, I do feel sorry for the video people in that era. The fact they went to prison, they got fucking fined, had to do all this shit. And I remember saying it once when I did this. All they had to do was have an 18 rating with a restricted 18, warning sticker on it, showing kids they should not be watching this material, and put it up above with stuff what's detaining in the films. Rather than go for all the shit they went through. But the news had a field day like they do. They had a field day telling people about all these nasty material, made in milk, they say it's going to corrupt kids, even though kids shouldn't be watching it. But this was it, you see, this was it. They never had the rating certificate, so kids could go out and get the Serial Killer. They could go out and get Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it's kind of funny because the pictures was really so graphic, but some of the films were never that bad. But that's how I see it. There were some that were nasty, and some what I'd look at and watch and think, seriously? But that's how it was back in that era. Happy to say now, I hope become a bit more sophisticated, more intelligent now to know that these films are not harmful, they're not going to turn kids into psychopaths. In order for them to be like that, there ought to be something wrong with them mentally to be like that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go too into it. But have we learned our lesson when we got an illness and then we got the peace with the man-made law? And isn't it funny the tourists had something to do with it, just exactly like they did with other things, I should say. But there you go. But that's how I see it. That's how I see it. So without affecting my dog, what do you say about the video nasties? Did it have an effect on you, Lucy? Did it have an effect on you? See, it's affected her. She's not talking like me. But into them, be smart. Be safe. We'll talk more about the video nasties and the movies, what were around in that era. But into them, be smart, be safe. See you later.